am woke now, and I can prove it. Here you go. I love illegal immigrants. Yeah, sue me now. Sometimes I go down to Dover for the day, right? And I look out, right? I look for a boat, and I see a dinghy with about 60 of them, and I go over here, like, right? And I pull them into shore, and I go, women and children first. They go, there are no women and children. Just you lads, is it? Just come on, lads.
Ricky Gervais is one of the funniest comedians on the planet. He never shies away from a topic, and people love him because of that. But the reason he makes people laugh isn't because his jokes are incredibly witty.
I tried to watch a bit of it, and I decided I'd rather watch Louis C.K. masturbate. Can't mention him anymore, he's cancelled.
I mean, they are witty, but that's not why people are laughing. It's normally because he's just told the truth about something, often the harsh truth, and it's funny because it's what everybody is actually thinking, but they daren't say it. In today's video, we're diving into his most biting takes on woke culture, from critiques on censorship to jokes about identity and politics. Get ready for some of his sharpest and most controversial moments. No topic is off limits, and no one is safe from his trademark sarcasm. Let's get right into it. Let's start off with Ricky's take on Boris Johnson's infamous comments about Muslim women. As usual, Ricky finds a way to inject humor into a controversial topic.
And people say to me, you spoil that cat? I go, yeah, I do. It's a cat. It's not a person. What's the worst that can happen if you spoil a cat? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't grow up to be fucking Boris Johnson. It is... No, I don't get political.
That's Ricky, taking aim at both Boris and society's double standards in one smooth shot. Now, let's move on to something even more provocative. Ricky's satirical take on illegal immigration.
Well, I am woke now, and I can prove it. Here you go. I love illegal immigrants. And I go, where you headed? And he goes, Gary Lineker's house. I go, it's just down there.
Who are these people? Why is he... Let's go hard on them.
Ricky welcoming immigrants to Gary Lineker's house. Only he could make a serious topic this hilarious. Now, he's about to tackle something a little closer to home for comedians: woke comedy. Comedy today comes with a lot of rules. Ricky's not exactly a fan. Here's his take on woke comedy and the idea of safe spaces in stand-up.
When someone says to me about another comedian, they say, oh, they're not funny. Even if I agree with them, I stand up and I say, well, you can't say that. You've got to say, you don't find them funny, you know? And I hate it when people say, that joke was offensive. I gotta say, no, you've got to say, you found it offensive. Because it's all about feelings, and feelings are personal.
Ricky's not wrong. Comedy without the risk of offense just isn't comedy, is it? Next up, we have one of Ricky's most controversial moments, the Caitlyn Jenner joke. Some called it transphobic, but Ricky's about to explain why they got it all wrong.
Last time I did it was a Caitlyn Jenner joke, right? Oh, outrage on Twitter the next day. And by outrage, I mean a couple of people going, it was transphobic. It wasn't transphobic in the slightest. It was a joke about a trans person, but the joke had nothing to do with that aspect of her existence. And that's the other thing about offence. People get offended when they mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target, and they're not necessarily the same. I'll tell you the joke, you make your own minds up, right? So...
According to Ricky, the subject of a joke isn't always the same as the target. That's a lesson a lot of people still need to learn. Now let's dive deeper into the cancel culture debate, because Ricky's got a lot to say about that too. In this clip, Ricky takes on cancel culture head on. He argues that those celebrating today's cancellations may one day find themselves in the same position.
If you're the type of person to revel in someone getting cancelled for something they said 10 years ago, you're just ensuring that one day you'll be cancelled for something you said today. You can't predict. The worst thing you can say today is, women don't have penises, right? Now, no one saw that coming.
Let's now move on to another hot-button issue, the evolving definition of what it means to be a woman.
Okay.
Ricky's humor doesn't shy away from even the most divisive topics.
We're really talking about
In this
this?
bit, he explores the changing definitions of gender and identity. Again, with his signature wit.
Oh, women. Not all women. I mean the old-fashioned ones. You know, the old-fashioned women. Oh, God. You know, the ones with wombs. Oh.
Here's Ricky tackling another taboo, obesity. As usual, he finds a way to flip the conversation with a bit of absurdity. Comparing it to being gay.
I was listening to the radio in England a few weeks back, Radio 4, quite highbrow. There was a discussion about political correctness. My name came up straight away, right? And there was this woman on there going, oh yeah, well it's not right. Ricky Gervais, he makes jokes about fat people. He wouldn't make jokes about gay people, would he? And being fat is like being gay. What? No, it's not. What? You can't choose your sexuality.
Of course, Ricky isn't buying the comparison. Now, he's about to go after something even bigger. The hypocrisy of woke corporations. Hollywood, the land of virtue-signaling speeches. All brought to you by corporations that run sweatshops in the background.
It's crazy.
Ricky's not buying the moral high ground these celebs try to stand on. Honestly, neither are we.
Apple roared into the TV game with a morning show. A superb drama, yeah.
I'm gonna look that up.
A superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China.
The word queer has changed a lot over the years, and Ricky has a bit of fun with how confusing it's all become.
Of course, the word queer has changed. Again, traditionally, the word queer used to mean someone who was attracted to the same sex as themselves, a gay man. Now, the word queer can mean a straight man who wants some attention.
Ricky's sharp sarcasm never fails to point out the absurd.
Real quick, welcome to Rich House Reviews. This channel, we love dark humor. We love people that are honest. We like people that are not trying to be held back. We come here to have a good time. Make sure you guys have a good time. Let's get back to the video. Make sure you stay to the end so you can hear my view on what went on in the video.
Up next, he delves into what really happens when people say they're offended, and why, in his view, it doesn't always matter.
At all.
Being offended doesn't necessarily make you right, according to Ricky. In this clip, he explains why offense is subjective and why it's important to keep pushing boundaries in comedy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right, you know? It's...
I love that. I love that quote from him.
Offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal.
It's a delicate balance, but Ricky's convinced the best comedy should challenge the status quo. Next up, he talks about the backlash to his Supernature special on Netflix.
I gotta see that.
Ricky's Netflix special, Supernature, caused quite a stir online. And his response? Well, let's just say he's not losing sleep over it.
At all.
Our show Supernature dropped on Netflix last year. Big backlash, wasn't there? Big backlash. People going, you can't say that. You can. I did.
That's respectful.
Well, I am woke, and now I'm woke. The first thing I've got to do is change my Twitter bio. Because at the moment, it's like a list of the shows I've created. But now I'm woke, I've got to pop in the word anti-fascist.
As Ricky sees it, controversy can only boost the popularity of a special.
Controversy.
Let's see how he tackles another hot topic. Cultural appropriation. It's a concept that's gotten a lot of attention recently. Ricky's not entirely convinced it's as bad as people make it out to be. Here's his take.
Cultural appropriation. Have you heard of that? Cultural appropriation, the latest no-no. Now, again, in my day, it was considered a good thing to swap ideas with other cultures, with other nations, to share things with other races, to assimilate. It was the opposite of racist. Now it's racist.
In this next clip, Ricky takes aim at virtue signalers.
People are virtue signaling. They're trying to bring people down to raise their own status. And they say it's because, no, we're protecting minorities. Like, they're basically saying minorities haven't got a sense of humour. I'm a white, heterosexual multi-millionaire, right? There's less than 1% of us.
According to Ricky, pretending to protect minorities without understanding them is more patronising than progressive.
It is.
Now let's hear what he has to say about the limits of free speech, especially when it comes to comedy. Freedom of speech is a topic Ricky is definitely passionate about. Here He breaks down why making jokes about bad things isn't the same as condoning them.
Try and explain to someone every day what freedom of speech means, particularly in the context of comedy, and particularly in the context of a joke, that a joke about a bad thing isn't as bad as the bad thing. It's not even necessarily condoning the bad thing. It could be anti the bad thing. It depends on the actual joke. And this woman said, you should never make jokes about food allergies. I should have left it, right? I sent back, I make jokes about AIDS, cancer, famine, and the Holocaust, right? And you're telling me I should never joke about food allergies. She sent back, yes, but the Holocaust didn't kill children. Well, it did, didn't it? It was horrible, the Holocaust. Some would say as bad as food allergies.
Ricky's point is clear. Jokes about serious topics don't make light of them. They challenge our understanding of them. Finally, let's see how Ricky satirizes political correctness in his stand-up. Ricky often uses irony to point out the ridiculousness of certain attitudes. And in this clip, he takes on the old sexist trope that women aren't funny.
It's not a show. There's no dancers or jugglers. It's basically a bloke talking, which is essentially what stand-up comedy is, isn't it? A bloke talking. Sexist.
What's a bloke?
What about all the funny female comedians? Like, No. Right. No. I'm not doing that. Okay, right. That was irony. There's going to be a bit of that throughout the show. See if you can spot it, okay? Now, that's when I say something I don't really mean for comic effect, and you as an audience, you laugh at the wrong thing because you know what the right thing is. It's a way of satirising attitudes. Like that first joke, I used the old-fashioned sexist trope that women aren't funny. Now, in real life, I know there are loads of funny women. Like, I did it again, well spotted, good.
Of course, it's all irony. Ricky knows there are plenty of funny women. And for our final clip, let's hear Ricky's thoughts on those who criticize him for being too edgy. Critics often say Ricky goes too far. But as he explains here, going too far is exactly what comedy should do. It should push boundaries and spark conversations.
I did think of adopting for a while, a little third world child, because that would tick all three boxes, wouldn't it? You know? You think of it like, one, I wouldn't be adding to the population problem. I'd be alleviating an existing problem. A young kid born through no fault of his own into abject poverty. He would have died without me. I can literally save his life and give him a great upbringing, right? Two, he would be grateful, wouldn't he? He'd want to pay me back, wouldn't he? Particularly if I let him know that all the other kids in the village, they weren't so lucky, they didn't make it out. I'd tell him that early on, so he really bucked his ideas up, right? I'd go, Tundi, come here. Yeah. Go and pop a shirt on, you're not in Africa now, mate. That's better. Yeah. Tundi, look. Yeah, water straight out of a tap, innit? Yes. No, it's not free, it's Hampstead. Yeah, of course it's safe. Safe. Fresh drinking water. Have as much as you want. Have a bucket full. Straight out of that fresh drinking water. There you go. Go and clean the car. Go on.
And there you have it. Ricky Gervais taking on woke culture, cancel culture, and everything in between. Whether he's critiquing woke capitalism or poking fun at the latest social trends, Ricky's humor is always sharp, provocative, and unapologetically bold.
Shout out to the people that made it to this part of the video. When you run a reaction channel, your main thing is to hope that people stick around for what you have to say and stick around for what your opinion and your perception is of what the video is. Now, I think that let's start off with the basis of right and wrong. I think if you live your life with that mentality of what's right and wrong, then you will stay in between them lines. If you offend somebody along the line, it's okay to offend somebody because sometimes you may not know that you offended them. The problem that I have now is that everybody is offended. It's like so many offended people in a pot right now. So it's like you have to be offended by this person, but you have to also keep in the back of your mind that you offended this person who's also offended by what that person said, who's offended by what that person said, and that's too much to deal with. What if we're offensive, we just shut the fuck up? What if we be offensive quietly? What if we be offended quietly? Why does everybody feel the urge to want to be, louder and hold the mic? Guys, if you feel this against what the comedian has to say, what I want you to do is go grab a mic, put together a comedy special, invite your people through, have them come through and support your show. Till then, shut up. We don't care. Now, Ricky Gervais, I love about him is he does not care about doing what a comedian is supposed to do. How dare people try to filter a joke? That doesn't make any sense. Nobody is exempt from a joke. He can talk about anything that is going to make somebody laugh because that is what his job is. And as soon as you try to change that, well, guess what? We don't have comedians now. Now we have puppets that just run around and robots that do whatever we tell them to do. Okay? Now, I love these type of videos. I think it really dives into what, we're here for, and that's we're here to just have a good time. We're not here to be in a comedy show, somebody jump up and yell about how offended they are. That's not what I go to comedy shows for. So shout out to you beautiful people for sticking around and seeing what I had to say about these type of things. I have a lot of other videos on this channel that might grab your attention. Make sure you dive into the rabbit hole. We're at 55,000 right now, on our way to 100,000 by the end of the year. Subscribe at the top bell. I'll see you on the next one.